While I'm extremely happy that Bandai decided to release another variant of the Extreme Gundam, it is extremely late to the party, lost behind an extremely expensive paywall, it has extremely subpar articulation and color separation, and GBGW did an extremely good job of implementing the Extreme Gundam Exaphase as an EX skill in the 10th anniversary colors. Seriously, Bandai, you need to step up your game. Now. What is going on, guys? MJ2005 Gundam here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the high-grade Extreme Gundam Eclipse Phase 10th anniversary version. Technically from Gundam Exa, but this is a special color for this occasion, so of course it is gonna be different. But I do like the blue color scheme on the type layouts. I think it does look pretty good. But with that said, please Bandai, make the orange version of this kit and release it to the public market. A lot of people would appreciate that. So, with that out of the way, let's get into the review. So the colors do have their special touches made to them, namely the blue being in a flaky metallic blue and the whites being in a pearlescent white. However, that is a double-edged sword to this kit, because it does leave behind some seriously atrocious nut marks while making this kit look good on the surface at the same time. So yeah, that there is one point to discredit this kit for, and because of that, you cannot clean up the various seam lines that are scattered all over the kit. Namely, on the back of the legs over here, you can see the two gigantic seam lines on the legs, the ones on the thighs, the ones on the arms, the ones on the chest, right down there. And of course, since the head is using old engineering but new parts, you do have a seam line on the head. So yeah, due to the coating, you really cannot do anything about the seam lines because you just rub the paint off, which is a shame. But speaking of the pieces over here, I really do like how they remodeled the head. I like how it looks right now. Because the old head doesn't look the best, I really love this new look. Although the majority of it is using old pieces, the new face definitely does do it for me. And of course, speaking of new pieces, you do have the shoulders and then the side skirts, and that's basically it. Everything else that is on this kit is reusing the old Extreme Gundam, so of course then you will know what to expect, because this thing is dated as heck. Hell, even the lower body does look very dated, because of course it is using the old parts from 2011. So this kit on the surface, it does not look the best. And of course this thing does have a barrage of stickers, no pun intended, because this kit is a bombardment type, but let's get on with it. On the body over here, of course you do have the eyes and sensors on the front and the front of the head, and then you do have the ones on the side leg binders over here, which are the metallic blue ones over here. And then of course you do have the metallic blue strip that is on the shoulder armor over here. You have 4 of those in total. So that's going to be the stickers on the main body. So overall, the looks of this thing, while the head does look good and the new armor does look good, the rest of the kit looks very dated. So articulation of this guy is nothing to write home about, because on the inside it's just the old Extreme Gundam. So the head is on the double ball jointed head, so you can do anything and the funky chicken, but beware of the rear V-fins colliding into the collar. The arms on the ball joint socket for the shoulder, so of course they can rotate, they can swivel out just like so. And then the shoulder cannons over here can actually swivel out if you pull it up a little bit, because pushing them all the way down will actually lock them into place. And then the shoulder panels over here are on the double hinge, so you can move them however you want to move them out of the way, so the arm can go out that far. Rotation above the elbow, bend at the elbow at 2 joints, which is pretty good, and then a ball jointed wrist. A single ball joint at the stomach, so you can rotate and wiggle about. The front skirts can't move, the side skirts can move outwards and swivel front and back, and then newly molded back skirts can move for once, which is a surprise because no back skirt could ever move in their existence ever. And then the legs can move forward and back separate from the waist, and then they can go forwards, go backwards with the back skirt moved out that far. And then since this is a ball joint socket for the legs, they can go as far out as the ball joint would allow it, which is pretty atrocious even for when the original Extreme Gundam was made. Rotation at the hip, and a double jointed knee which can only bend 90, yet again it's atrocious. And then the ball joint at the ankle armor, which can allow it to move. The top joint on the feet can allow them to go forward and back, and then the ball joint can allow it to go forward and back more, and of course an ankle rocker over here. And then the side skirts over here, the panels over here can move, and this fin over here can move as well. I don't know what for, so maybe you guys can tell me in the comments below. And of course the backpack does have the moving thrusters over here. So all in all, articulation, yeah, is nothing to write home about, as I did say. So yeah, you're not going to get the most extreme of poses with this kit right here. So yeah, that's a little bit of a downside. So accessories, first of all, toothpick beam saber, not worth my time talking about. Second of all, we do have the shoulder cannons on, well, the shoulders. So as I did mention in the articulation section, you need to raise it up a little bit just to unlock the rotating mechanism. At the same time, you do need to shift the shoulder panel into this specific angle, but I usually like to have it straight just because the Exa face did that, but this is the Eclipse face, so you had to angle it a little bit downwards according to the instruction manual, and then you rotate the cannon towards the front and then collapse them back down. Now you do have 2 tabs in the barrel of the cannon. I usually grab onto the first tab and pull out the entire barrel just like that, and then finally you push this piece out to extend the barrel to the fullest extent. So now here you have the shoulder cannons deployed. Pretty nice. And next up, you do have the signature variable psycho rifles over here. I do like the looks of them because of the detail that is implemented into the rifles themselves. And since this thing is made up of 2 pieces, of course you have a seam line running right down the middle. However, since this is not specially coated or anything, you can clean up that seam line no problem. But the disappointing fact is that the blue is made up of stickers, so you do have 3 per rifle. Now, I would not be saying that this is disappointing if the LX model didn't exist, because the LX model did have the variable psycho rifles included in their Extreme Gundam type Leos, and the blue pieces, or in that case orange, were actually clear plastic. So a third-party model kit did better than what Bandai did over here, despite the amount of detail not being as much as the ones that are in this kit. So that's really one point to discredit these rifles for. But you do get some custom trigger finger hands for this. You do have the angled ones over here, and you do get one for each hand, which is pretty good. And the second thing is, these hands do have a hole in the palm, and the variable psycho rifles don't have any pegs on the handles. Now, I understand it's maybe a little bit too small to implement a peg in there, but come on, if you are not going to be implementing a peg into the rifles, do not include the hole in the palm, because it would be pointless completely. So let me retract the shoulder cannon right here first, and then swap out the hands. And the hands are in a little bit of an angle, which I will show the purpose later. I'm going to arm up the left one, and I'll be right back. So here is the Extreme Gundam Eclipse face with the rifles armed up. So the sole purpose for the manipulators being angled is to easily execute the cross buster form of the rifles. Basically, the twin buster rifle, the Wing Zero, with ease, just like that. So that is pretty good, and of course you can, if you have multiple of this kit somehow, you can infinitely stack the rifles towards the side, because they have the exact same hole and peg on the sides. So of course you can infinitely stack the rifles if you have multiple of this kit. And then we finally get to activate the ultimate form of Extreme Evolution and bring in the cartridges that are on the shoulders. First of all, we do have the Eclipse cluster over here, and I have to say, man, these cartridges are a handful. Even though they do nothing, they do have quite a bit of stickers. So you do have the 2 over here, and you do have this just one gigantic sticker right down here. So yeah, this is sticker hell over here. And that's not all. You do get the 2 blue ones on the housing unit over here. So there is quite, and I mean quite, a bit of stickers in this thing, and I have to say, man, these things are causing me hell right now, because they are starting to peel off, just like the Stargazer, because they are put over narrow surfaces, so they are peeling off. So what you do to mount it is to basically raise this shoulder panel and then slide the housing unit on there. So that's basically the Eclipse cluster, so you can have both on the shoulder or none on the shoulder if you want to launch them out. And finally, we do have the Carnage Striker over here. Exactly the same deal as the Eclipse cluster. We do have the exact same stickers on the Carnage Striker over here. So 7 stickers on this entire unit alone. And then basically what you do is do the same, raise the shoulder panel over here, and then slide this thing on here. And what you do to deploy it is basically rotate the shoulder cannon, rotate this thing up, and unfold the cannon just like so, and then there is a tab underneath so you can pull the barrel out. Now this is really too long for my shot, so yeah, and this is of course gonna sag the arm down. So what Bandai did is actually implemented an action-based hole inside of the track, which does come in handy because it does have an included stand for you to hold up the Carnage Striker in a shooting form, which is pretty cool. But yep, this does take up quite a bit of display space, so I doubt any one of you who have this kit are going to display it like this, but it is a cool option nonetheless. So that's going to be all the accessories for the Extreme Gundam Eclipse phase. Side note, with the cartridges on the shoulders, it does make this kit extremely unwieldy, especially if you want to raise the arms to do the cross-buster form of the variable cycle rifles, because it just doesn't work. So, for comparisons, since I do not have the original Extreme Gundam anymore because I already cannibalized the hell out of it for a customized build, let me bring in something generic. So, here we have the original Gundam. Well, I think it does really make sense because Cynthia Awar actually piloted the RX-78-2 Gundam, specifically this version, so yep, we technically have the couple together. But please, make Excelia. And then, let's bring in another high firepower suit, the V2 Gundam. So in terms of leftover parts, first of all, we do get the A-plate over here. You do have the original face, you do have the gigantic shield over here, and you do have the yellow pieces for the side skirt, and of course you do have the original clear pieces for the shoulders. Next up, we have the B-plate with the original side skirts, the original back of the waist, there's no skirts there, and you do have the original helmet and the top of the shield. Moving on, we have the entire D plate over here missed, so you do have the guitar rifle, you do have an extra connector for the guitar case and the handle, and you do not have enough hand covers to utilize the extra hands over here, so that's a bit of a shame. And then finally, the double C plates, you do get the original shoulder armor left over. So in this kit, you do have everything to rebuild the original Extreme Gundam in the 10th anniversary colors, if you so choose. So that's gonna wrap it up for the Extreme Gundam Eclipse phase review. What do I think of this kit? Well, I do like the newly designed face. I think it looks way better than the old one. I like how easy it is to combine the rifles because the RG Wing Zero and the high grade Wing Zero Hono do have problems with combining the rifles with the hands on, so you can recreate the iconic pose very easily with this kit with the stocks in the Extreme Gundam's face. And last but not least, I really like how they engineered the barrels on the shoulder cannons and the Carnage Striker because you cannot see the tabs from a distance. But that's all I can praise this guy on apart from the colors, because on the inside this is just the original Extreme Gundam. I cannot complain about the lower body too much because I expected them to use those old parts, so the articulation being atrocious and the ball jointed legs, man, I cannot really complain about it too much because I anticipated that. But what I could complain about is the color separation on the new pieces. Now sure, they did all they could do with the shoulder armor, so I'm not going to complain about that, but the cartridges on the shoulders and the rifles could have received a little bit better treatment when it comes to color separation, especially on the rifles, because a third-party company could do the rifles better than you, Bandai. What the heck are you doing? And I fully believe that the gigantic sticker on the cartridges could have been replaced with the clear piece. Although you're not going to be seeing it as much, I think it would have been best if that is a clear piece and not a gigantic blob of a sticker. And it would have been nice if they actually redid the backpack and gave us proper beam sabers and custom connectors to tease the other two variants of the Extreme Gundam type Leos. But they didn't do that and gave us the old backpack and the old beam saber toothpick, so that's points deducted. And yeah, overall, I'm just going to give this guy a 5 out of 10 for one extra reason, because you will need to buy the collector's edition of Extreme vs. Maxi Boost On for the PS4 in order to have this kit. So if it were a regular release, I would give this thing a 5.5 to 6 out of 10 because it does have the imposing looks and average, if not pretty okay gimmicks. But unfortunately, you can only get this kit if you have the collector's edition. So if you're going for the game and the kit, don't let me stop you. But if you're going for the kit alone, it's not worth it. So maybe wait for Bandai to announce that they're going to be doing the proper version of the Eclipse phase type Leos, but if not, don't go for it. I will not recommend you to go for the kit alone. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did like it, please be sure to drop a like, comment, and also subscribe for more Gunpla reviews, Gunpla news, and all that kind of stuff. Subscribe to the featured channels on my channel page if you haven't, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.